Hello, everyone. This is DrCareyYazeed, and I am back for my weekly check-in with everyone. So for those of you who don't know who I am, let me go ahead and introduce myself real quick. My name is DrCareyYazeed. I am the founder of the Beauty Brains and Business Network, and also I'm the host of the Beauty Brains and Business Podcast, which is a weekly show that comes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify that focuses on female entrepreneurs. To learn more about me and the Beauty Brains and Business Network, or to catch some episodes of the Beauty Brains and Business Podcast, make sure you visit our website, which is thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com. So, new numbers came out today, right? And those numbers are indicating that 6.6 million people have filed for unemployment within the last week. Again, that's 6.6 million people that have applied. We know that that does not include people who were already on the list. So there were already people who were on unemployment. That's not counting them. And those numbers do not reflect the number of people who probably have been unemployed and their unemployment has run out, or they never qualified for unemployment. So that means a great number of people in the United States are currently unemployed. So on social media for the last couple of days, I've been seeing a lot of different information that's been floating around, information from the Small Business Association as far as the payroll loan that can help small businesses maintain their payroll. There's also there's a disaster relief loan that's available for small businesses as well. If you want to learn more about that, you can go on the SBA's website, or you can go to, again, the Beauty Brains and Business website. I do have some information on our website regarding those two loans. But the information has been different. And from what I read today, banks are really concerned about the payroll loan because they're saying the guidelines that are attached to it are real vague. They feel that the interest rates are too low. They don't know what to do for businesses that may not qualify for it, that they're really not getting a lot of feedback. And so banks are now becoming hesitant as far as taking on this task, because it will be banks. From my understanding, it's going to be banks that will be distributing those funds. And from what I've heard, for the disaster relief for small businesses, which is a separate loan, that one's going to be handled through the SBA. So again, it's a lot of information out there for people to keep up with. If you are a small business, there are going to be resources to help you, but you've got to stay on top of it. If you have a mortgage, you are going to need to contact your mortgage company, and you are going to have to request a forbearance or let them know that you need some financial relief. It is not going to happen automatic. You do have to call, and most of your banks, you fill out the application over the phone, or you can do it online. It doesn't take that long, and the turnaround is like real quick. Like they're letting people know quickly. So again, you can't sit there and wait for this stuff to just be handed to you. You have to be proactive. And that's one thing that we are seeing with all of this, is that we are going to have to be proactive in everything that we do. So as I talk about those things, I talked about the number, the 6.6 million people, giving you all some resources. But at the end of the day, there are still a lot of people that are out there that are struggling, especially those families that have been living paycheck to paycheck. And, the noise that I've been hearing on the internet is people are saying, well, you should have had 3 to 6 months worth of your pay, your monthly pay saved up. And that sounds great when you are in a financial position to be able to do that. But if we're really going to get honest about the numbers, and we're going to get honest about the pay difference that is taking place, if you are African-American female and you are the head of your household, so you are a single parent, Well, we already know that African American females are not getting paid the same amount as their counterparts. And when we don't get paid the same amount as our counterparts, when I say our counterparts, I'm talking about white males and white females. We don't get paid as much as they do. We get paid less. And on top of that, the more education that we have, the wider the pay gap becomes. That becomes an issue when people start saying that you need to have all of this money saved up, and you're supposed to have savings to fall back on, and you're still supposed to be able to pay your rent and pay your mortgage. That sounds great in a perfect world, but we know that we don't live in a perfect world. If you're an African American female, you've had to work twice as hard just to make what your white counterparts have made in a year. You almost have to work 18 more months. You've got to work 18 months to make what they make in 12 months. No, it's not fair, but that's the world that we've been living in. And so now a lot of things are really starting to come to the surface, and people are really starting to see, like, things that have been covered up for a long time, they're coming to the surface. We're also starting to see, while people are sitting in quarantine, because I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of females, is that some of you really are seeing how much time you have been away from home. You're seeing how much time you have missed with your kids. Now, no, I don't think a lot of us at this point would say we would want to be a teacher when you're having a homeschool and, you're also working at home during a crisis. It becomes a lot. But in all of this, I think a lot of people are starting to do some self-reflection, and they're starting to see maybe there were some areas of their life where they weren't happy, or there's some things in their life that they've been missing. And now life has slowed down for you to start to realize those things. And I say that because I was once you. In October of 2016, I walked away from an assistant professor position. I was full-time professor because I was working in a toxic work environment, and I was also a victim of sexual harassment, and I was not being protected by my university. And that takes a toll on your mental health. And I had to make a decision about my mental health and, my job. And I chose my mental health, and I also chose my personal safety. But when I went home, it was a totally different world. And it took a lot of adjusting. And in that adjusting, there was also a lot of self-reflection that took place as well. And I started to learn a lot of things about myself. And I kind of want to talk about those things tonight. So as you all are at home, and again, you have a lot of things that we're trying to stay safe. We're trying to stay healthy. We're trying to maintain households. Some of us are trying to maintain businesses. Others of us are trying to maintain a job. Some of us are even trying to bring in income into our household because right now there is no income. And so this is a perfect time for you to sit down and really, if you're not happy with your situation, ask yourself, what is it that you're not happy with? What part of your situation would you like to see change? And in you asking yourself that, I need you to say, when it changes, how do I want it to look? How do I want my new situation to be? From there, you need to ask yourself, what are some things that I can start to do right now while I am in quarantine? I have the stay-at-home order. What are some things that I can start doing that when this is over with, I can come out of this a better person? I can put myself in a different position, and that position might be financially. This is the time where you need to start peeling back the layers of the onion. And that's what I like to call it. Onion has many layers, but we start peeling them back till you get down to the core. And you have this extra time to really sit down and do that with yourself, especially if you are in a situation where you're finding yourself going to bed anxious at night, waking up anxious in the morning, crying, feeling that you have no support. That means that there's something in your life right now, there isn't a balance. balance. And you need to figure out what is off and what is it that you need to do to reclaim that balance and that peace and that stability in your life. Now, for those of you who are struggling financially, and even if you have a job, if you are still struggling financially, last week I told you all about the ebook that I had released. And so the ebook is still up there, How to Make Money in the Corona Economy. You can go to the Beauty Brains and Business website and you can grab a copy and you can pay whatever you can afford. So I haven't put a price on it. But in that ebook, I list 27 different ways that you can begin to generate income right now. Most of the ways that I suggest do not cost you anything. It really, all you need is your skills, your talents, your gift, your knowledge. And you can sit down and start to generate money. But a lot of us have been so conditioned that we have to work a 9 to 5, that we have to stay in a good job. And, you know, there's just kind of like this stigma about people who work for themselves or people who have a side hustle. But when you get in situations like this, where your income is tight, your money is funny, as my mom used to say, then you got to start thinking outside of the box. How can I generate income? How can I start to generate income now while I'm sitting in quarantine? And some people are saying this can't be done. This is impossible. It can be done. Listen to me. It can be done. When I walked away from my job in October of 2016, a few months before, I had just closed my private practice because I was retiring. I used to be a mental health social worker, so I used to do therapy. I had closed my private practice, and then, you know, I'm in this situation. This isn't working out, and I walked away. And when I walked away, all I had coming in was $430 in child support each month, and I had 3 months of sick leave. That's it. So I basically had 3 months to figure it out real quick. And what I'm telling you is the things that I did. I sat down, I looked at what are my skills? What are my talents? What am I good at? And I assessed. I said, well, hey, you've been a professor, so you're good at teaching people. You've written 2 urban novels. So I did some fiction work under my pen name of CJ Domino. I knew I had did that. I had written a dissertation, turned part of it into a book. I had also written a self-help book. So I knew that I could write. I had also self-published all of my work. Well, I knew I did that. You know, I had also been a serial entrepreneur. So in addition to having a mental health private practice for 20 years, I also had been a photographer for 7 years. Again, I had self-published, so I started a publishing company. So I had done that. I had an African-American bookstore for a couple of years. And before my second husband and I got a divorce, we were co-owners of a barbershop. So I had owned several types of businesses. And I said, well, you've been an entrepreneur. You know how to run a business. And so as I looked at all of those skills and talents and knowledge and gifts that I had, I said, but which one can you take right now and start making money? How can you start to generate income? And I went with the writing because I knew that I could put out an ebook. I knew that I could start to generate some type of income. And then from there, offer classes and do some different things and offer coaching. And basically, that was how Beauty Brains in Business started. It technically started in October of 2016. The podcast actually started in September of 2017. So you have to start somewhere. At some point, you have to move, you have to shift, and you have to do something. You cannot continue to stay stagnant and stay where you are and stay in the same spot suffering. At some point, you have to say, I want better. I want to do better. I am going to do better. The other thing is that you need to remember this. Whatever it is that you desire, you deserve it. you got to just put it out there in the universe. So you got to start speaking positive over your own life. That's the first thing that you have to do. You got to cut out all of the negative noise that's going on around you. I like to tell females, women, you have got to find you a tribe of like-minded women. Women who are doing what you are doing, or women who are doing what you want to do. You can't continue if you're the smartest person in your circle of friends, you need a whole new circle of friends. You should be surrounded by a group of women who inspire you and who hold you accountable and who are happy when you achieve your goals, but they also know where you're trying to go because some of them have been there, so they can help you to get there. And a lot of times we don't put ourselves in those positions, and we try to hold on to old friends and old associates, thinking that they're going to change, and a lot of them are not. And so I always say, make sure you find you a tribe of like-minded women. And that's basically where the Beauty Brains and Business Network came in, was because I saw that women, when it came to business, husband didn't understand what they were talking about. You know, guys just be like, okay, baby, yeah, that sounds good. They don't know what you are talking about. Friends will say the same thing, but then you realize no one is listening to you. No one is supporting you. So as you are making this shift, as you are making this transition, find you a tribe of like-minded individuals and begin to allow them to pour into you and validate what you're feeling and what you're going through. Let them offer you suggestions. Let them be your cheerleaders and let them help you get to where it is that you are trying to go. This is the time where, if we are talking about making some transformations in our lives, it needs to start happening now. You have the time to do the research. You don't have to leave out of your house to do the research. You can do the research on your phone. You can do the research on your computer. Sit down. Think about what you want to do. Write it out. And then sit down and do the research and see what exactly is it that you need. Sometimes we talk ourselves out of things because we think it's going to cost us a whole lot of money. And we never do the research to see that it's not going to even cost you anything to get started because you have everything that you need. Yes, sometimes it does take money to make money, but sometimes just to get started, you've already made the financial investments a long time ago with the education that you paid for. You just don't know how to pivot and to get yourself into a different space. And so if you are in a situation right now where, again, you are struggling financially and you're saying, well, you know, Dr. Carey, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to make any money. You know, we're just struggling. Think of what is it that you want to do? What is it that you've always wanted to do outside of what you are doing? Do the research. See if they have someone out there that offers that. See if they have Facebook groups. Do the research. See if you can find some stuff online. Libraries have where you can check out audio books. So even though libraries are closed right now, if you have a library card, you can still download an audio book and listen to it for the same amount of days that you check out a regular book. That doesn't cost anything. So there are some ways that you can really begin to change your financial situation right now. Use the time that you have so that when all of this is over, you can come out financially, putting yourself in a better space, because everybody's not going to do that. So this is how you are going to get ahead of the curve. You got to think smart. You got to start moving smart, and you got to start moving different. You can't continue to move like everyone else. Your movement has to be totally different. Use this time to prepare yourself. And if you can get started right now, go ahead and get started. Again, the ebook is on the website, thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com. It lists 27 ways that you can start to generate income during a corona economy, because that's what I'm calling it, the corona economy. You can start to generate income. And I only think 1 or 2 require you to leave your house. The rest you can do from your home. If you haven't picked that up, if you haven't went and gotten a copy, shame on you. But it's still up there. Grab that. Let's start to change our financial situations. We don't have to be where we are. We don't need to continue to live the way that we're living. We don't need to continue to be stressed out about money and finances. It's time for us to level up. And this is the perfect time. If you are a small business, again, there are resources out there. You need to get on it right now. SBA website, or you can go to the Beauty Brains and Business website and see what are the different fundings that are out there, the loans that are out there that can help to provide you some assistance. If you have a mortgage, call your mortgage company and see what different programs they have that can help you with your mortgage payment. I think some of them have like where they will forgive your loan for like an entire year. But again, you have to call. None of this is going to be automatic. The government is just not going to give it to you. If you're waiting on that $1,200 stimulus check, I think they're saying that the first round of checks might be going out around April the 13th. But again, a lot of people that are listening to this right now, you know that $1,200 is going to be gone once you get it. And it's not that you're going to be spending it on frivolous stuff. You're going to be trying to catch up on your bills, especially if you've been living paycheck to paycheck and the paychecks have stopped. So the goal, when you walk away from this live today, your goal is to sit down. So this is your homework assignment. I need you to sit down. If you don't like your situation, you need to think about what is it that you don't like and how do you want it to look once all of this is over. And then write down the steps. What is it that you need to do? What are some things that you can start doing right now today to change your situation? It can change, but you've got to put in the work. It's not going to happen automatically. And again, you can start making some money, but to make the money that you really want to make, you're going to have to put in some work. You're going to have to put in some sweat. You might cry, but it'll be some different type of tears. I mean, I'm just keeping it real with you. This situation is not permanent. This is not your forever. This is temporary. But in this temporary state, start taking the steps that you need to take to improve who you are and where you are in life. So again, if our goal is to start making some money because you're one of the 6.6 million people who have lost their job, grab the ebook, sit down, plot it out. What do you need to do? To get started is not going to cost you anything right now. And the goal is to get started and to start generating some income to help you to survive. And once you start surviving, your goal is going to shift. And the shift is going to be that you're going to move from surviving to thriving. So again, my name is Dr. CareyYazeed. To find out more about me, make sure you visit my website, thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com. There you can find out about the network and you can listen to some episodes of the podcast and you can read some of the blog posts that we have available. If you have any questions about tonight's live, feel free to send me a message. But again, I hope that all of this information has helped everyone who is listening. If you are interested in writing an ebook, next Wednesday, I will be offering a webinar on how to write, publish, and sell an ebook. And hey, I write where I can push something out in less than 24 hours. So I'm going to show you how to get started. If you're interested in that, that information is on the website as well, thebeautybrainsandbusiness.com. After the live is over, I will go back and read all of your comments, but thank you to everyone who participated tonight. If you've enjoyed the information that I've shared with you, make sure you share this live with your followers on LinkedIn. Everybody stay safe, practice social distancing. Please just stay at home. We ain't even got to do social distance. Stay home, and we're all going to get through this. And I'm just wishing everybody the best. Hope that everyone has a great evening and that you have a great weekend.